Well, game is a product, and every product in the human history begins with an idea. And here is the first step. Ideation. Of course we have an idea. We became indie to make our dream ideas. But what about that? You probably heard from many devs that you better to start with a smaller idea. There's a reason behind that. It's not because we can't make big things, it's because are we ready to make a big thing at this time? And it's not just about money and time, it's about our skills and abilities, our experience, our long-term commitment to face many unknown challenges, our capability to do such things like code, design, product management, marketing, resource management, etc. But how to craft a small and yet innovating game idea? Ever find yourself staring at a blank page, your creativity completely dried up? It's a common experience, but fear not, for there's a secret weapon that can ignite your creative spark. Limitations. Contrary to popular belief, limitations don't hinder creativity, they actually fuel it. So if you are struggling to come up with a great game idea, consider these tips. Number 1. Embrace game jams. These time-limited challenges force you to generate ideas quickly and efficiently. Many successful games like Binding of Isaac and Superhot have their origins in game jams. Number 2. Impose your own limitations. Experiment with self-imposed constraints such as limiting the number of game mechanics. Number 3. Seek inspiration from other sources. Look beyond the gaming industry for inspiration, explore art, literature, music, and other forms of media. Number 4. Take breaks. Yes, sometimes the best ideas come when we are not actively trying to think of them. Step away from your project and let your mind wander. But remember, do not get obsessed with the idea. Yes, of course, we need an idea to start with, but the thing that makes your game fun, entertaining, and play-worthy is not the idea, it's about how we execute the idea. As John Doerr says, idea is nothing, execution is everything. Well, what about my game idea? It's of course not big, but not very small too, for I may rely on my experience a bit more. It's kind of cozy game about exploration and worth acknowledging to go through the game story more wisely. Think of it as a mini action adventure game with a focus on exploration and puzzle solving. Here comes the next step, and you're not gonna like that. Market research. Yes, I know, all of us hate marketing, but we're not making game out of charity. We need to make money of it, and to do so, we need to be able to sell our game. And to do so, we need to market our game. And unfortunately, it starts right now, even before we get to development. When starting a new game project, it's essential to have a solid understanding of our target audience, competitors, and the market as a whole. That's where market research comes in. By conducting through market research, we can identify potential opportunities, avoid pitfalls, and make informed decisions about our game's development. Want to learn more about conducting market research and how game companies are actually using it? Leave a comment below and I'll create a dedicated video on this topic. Once we've decided on our game concept and conducting our market research, we can go for the next important step, which is the backbone of our project. Documentation. Documentation is essential for keeping everyone on our team aligned, tracking progress, and ensuring that our game's vision remains consistent throughout development. It's the Bible of our game. There are different types of documents for different types of needs, and we may need some of them more than the others according to the project and the team's needs. Let's say that I've learned some techniques to prepare more efficient documents through the years, and I have some useful advices to do so. Should I make a dedicated video on this topic too? I don't know, you tell me. You know the drill, right? Planning. A well-crafted plan is essential for navigating the complex landscape of indie game development. By mapping out our game's journey, we can anticipate challenges, allocate resources effectively, and stay focused on our goals. These are the key elements of a game dev plan: timeline, budget, team, milestone, and risk assessment. But why is planning so important? It reduces uncertainty and helps us anticipate challenges and prepare accordingly. It saves time and resources and prevents wasted efforts and ensures efficient use of resources. It improves focus and keeps our team, or just us as a solo dev, aligned and motivated. And finally, it facilitates decision making. It provides a framework for making wise choices. Want to learn more about creating a comprehensive plan? Do your magic, and I'll share some techniques. Tool selection. Most of the tools for game development can be replaced by others without any concerning. For example, it doesn't matter that you make UI by Photoshop, Krita, GIMP, Figma, Adobe XD or any other tools. But when we are getting to talk about game engine, it's a bit different. Of course, there are some cons and flaws, advantages and disadvantages. Things like price, policy to use the engines or to sell a game that made by a specific engine. All of those are business concerns that we must think about and make the best decision for our product and our business. But when it comes about the features and capability of a game engine, it's really an easy decision to make. Just ask these 3 questions. What our game needs and which engine can deliver it with less difficulties. How much we are familiar with a specific engine and have experience with. And how much time we need to learn things about the engine according to our game's needs. Now, if this is your first ever experience of game making and you've had no experience with any game engine before, I strongly suggest you to start with a smaller and less complicated one. Something like Godot. It's 10 times easier and faster to learn than the Unreal. After I asked those questions, I've decided to go with the Unreal Engine, for it was the best decision for me at the time. Setting up the project. Setting up a version control system for a project. What is version control? This essential tool will help us track changes, collaborate effectively, and protect our project from data loss. Let me explain. Think of version control as a time machine for your project. It allows you to create snapshots of your project at different points in time, so you can revert to previous versions if needed. These snapshots also have some differences, and version control maintains all those differences in metadata files. Think of it as a solved spot the difference puzzle. It gets more interesting when we are working in form of a team. All members can work on the same project but completely independently. It's called branches. Version control maintains the history of all changes for all branches and from all members. By using version control, you can protect your project from data loss, collaborate effectively with your team, and track the evolution of your game over time. There are different tools of version control systems such as Git, SVN, Mercurial, Perforce, and a bunch of others. Which one fits best for your team or your project? It's up to you to decide. Personally, I use Git and GitHub for my project. Do a little research and select one. Learn how to work with it and do not worry. It's really easy to use version controls. You can learn how to set up and using them in less than 5 minutes by watching a simple tutorial on YouTube. But be sure to use a version control system. Otherwise, believe me, you'll be doomed. Now we are ready to get started and do some prototype exploration in our indie journey.